All right, everybody, back at it again. Boys are up against Hartland tonight. Fourth game of the weekend so far. Playing pretty well, especially that game this morning. I thought they played great. Most families stayed up here for the day. I know we had a big gap between games. A couple families went home to rest and relax at home. All right, we're going to start out with Rig Harris back in net. We'll have Nixon Luke Brighton Russo at wing. We'll have Holden Gentner at center. Luke Wolf and Jace Albert back at D. Here we go. Let's up down deep. Puck movement behind the net. Albert's got it. Shot low. Gets deflected wide. And Hartland breaks out with it. They'll get it into our zone, and they're going to dump it and go for a change. Ref's yelling, we've got a door open. All right, we'll have Cones dump it deep. We've got Wilkevich and Myers up front. We've got Bomer and Hubbard back at D. We talked about before, this sheet of ice is not great for trying to get you guys good film on. Can't be at center ice, can't get any elevation. All right, Toledo's going to dump it down. Is not going to go for an icing. It gets waved off. We get a line change here. Kept in at the blue line by Luchansky. We've got Signs and Srovi out with him. Albert and Wolf are back at D. Kept in at the blue line, and now it's out of the zone. And a foot race. Albert's trying to catch up. And nice save. Oh, no, it goes in. That's a goal. It's a goal. They're talking. All right, yeah, they're calling it a goal. All right. That comes off of a breakaway. Not much goalie can do on that. We've got Sorobi, Signs, Luchansky still up front, Albert and Wolf back at D still. Sorobi gains the zone, dumps it in. We got Bomer and Hubbard in at D, quick shot. Puck's back to Hubbard, shot. Blocked again. Hartland player blocked that first shot. He's hurting still. He's going off the ice. That's going to be an icing. All right, still Hubbard and Bomer back at D. We've got Gentner, Russo, and Lukes up front. Puck from Lukes back to... Oh, man, that's dangerous. Everybody okay? All right, he gets up. Bomer's got it. Over to Hubbard. Hubbard's going to dump it in. We've got a delayed penalty coming against that hit that was from behind into the boards. Question is that just going to be a minor? Or are they going to call boarding? Or he gets it. All right. Hartland touches it. They're calling a cross check. I think the refs are going to chat here about the call. Yeah, that could either be a 10-minute or 2-minute. I don't know what they're calling. We got a ref over there talking to the coaching staff for Hartland. Yeah, they're sending another player to the box, so that's going to be a 10-minute penalty. I don't know if it's just a misconduct or a game misconduct, but never like to see any hits from behind, especially up high into the neck or head area, into the boards. All right, so we'll have Toledo on the power play here. Back to Wolf. We've got Wolf and Albert back at D. Up front, we've got Signs, Wilkevich, and Myers. That's back to Wolf. Shoots. Deflects. Goes wide. And bouncing puck gets across the blue line. Signs sends it back to Wolf. Up to Myers, over to Signs, shot, that's a goal. That was on the power play. We'll have a 1-1 game. We'll have Bomer and Hubbard back at D. We'll have Gentner, Luchansky, and Lukes up front. To the far side, back behind our net. Offside, last step. We're going to bring in Wolf and Albert back at D. We'll have Cones, Clausen, Signs up front. the glove or over the shoulder. All right, we got a 1-2 game. All right, we'll bring in Bomer and Hubbard back at D. We'll have Russo, Volkevich, and Myers up front. Puck's back to Bomer. He looks for it, sends it over to Hubbard. Gets deep into the zone. We got Russo and Myers back with it. Puck's gonna come to Bomer at the blue line. He walks to the middle, takes a step, shot, big rebound, still loose and goes wide. All right, Russo's gonna skate it in, shot, nice stop by the goalie. Gentner up to Russo. Russo, just out of Signs' reach. We got Russo, Signs, Luke's up front. And we've got a penalty coming against Hartland, I think, for a check. All right, we'll have Bomer and Wolf out for D, Gentner, Signs, and Luke's up front. Wolf's got it, sends it back to Gentner, Signs to Wolf, to Bomer, quick shot. Puck's loose, but we get a whistle.
He's had the same thing.
All right, we'll have Hubbard and Wolf out at D. We'll have Luke's, Signs, and Gentner up front. Luke's the Signs. Back to Luke's the Signs. Oh, couldn't get through. Puck's back to Wolf. Got a good shot. Blocked. Back to Wolf. Signs. Shot off the side of the net. Wolf, the Signs. Oh, puck's still loose. Oh, that was offsides. Close. All right, just about 10 seconds left in the power play here. We'll have Albert and Bomer back at D. Russo, Volkevich, and Myers up front. Penalty is over. We are back to 5-on-5. Bouncing around in the slot and goes behind the net. Quick shot from Myers. Goalie stops it. we'll have Albert and Wolf back at D. We've got Luchansky, Sarovi, Cones up front. Nice quick pass from Sarovi. Oh, that almost went in. The goalie got that just with the top of his shoulder pad, I think. Toledo gains his own. We've got Hubbard and Bomers came in at D. We've got Luchansky, Cones, and Gentner up front. Puck's kind of trapped around along those close side boards here by the blue line, out of the zone. Lukes has it, and back out of the zone. Dumped in by Albert. Deep by Gentner, and we'll get a line change here. At least they're forward. Signs is still out. Oh man, saw Russo open, just missed it by a couple inches. Shot saved by Harris. All right, out of the zone. Hartland has it. Hubbard coming off the bench is able to get a stick on that. All right, less than 2 minutes to go here in the first. Toledo's down by 1. We'll have Bomer and Hubbard in at D. We'll have Myers, Russo, and Clausen up front. Bomer goes back into the corner with it. And he's looking, sends it up to Clausen. And puck gets dumped deep. We'll get a line change. We've got Wilkevich up front. Luchansky up front. We've got Wolf and Albert back at D. Wilkevich takes it into the corner. Back to Albert. And get it out of the zone. He'll get it sent down for an icing. We'll have about 6 seconds left here in the first. We'll bring in Bomer and Hubbard. We'll have Signs, Gentner, and I can't see the other forward. Bomer's going to keep it along the boards. All right, start of the second. We'll have Nixon Lukes at right wing. We'll have Roman Signs at center, Holden Gentner at left wing, George Bomer at D, and Jack Hubbard at D. Goes behind the net. Up to the blue line and blocked by Gentner. Tries to get it out and puck comes out. Homer sends it up the boards. Is that deflected? Nope, that's an icing. All right, we'll bring in Albert and Wolf at D. Up front, we've got Cones, Myers, Russo. It's up to Cones. Centers it to Myers. That's a backhand goal from, I think Myers shot that in. Looked like it was backhand anyways. That'll be tied up 2-2. Nice passing there. I just realized that net is right in the middle of this stanchion. Let me move. That's better. Is this one open? All right, cool. All right, we've got Wojciech up front. We've got Luchansky up front. We've got Sorobi up front. And Albert's back with the puck. Changes direction up to Wojciech. He comes up with that, he'll gain the zone. Quick shot, goalie covers. We'll have Bomer and Hubbard at D. Russo, Lukes, and Gentner up front. Hartland has it. It's out of the zone. No icing on that. Out of the zone. And dumped into Bomer. Picks it up. And back to Bomer. Over to Hubbard. Up to Russo. Gets that covered. All right, we'll bring out Albert and Wolf at D. We'll have Clausen, Luchansky, and Signs up front. Out of the zone. Signs over to Luchansky. We've got Bomer and Wolf back at D right now. Wolf. And Wolf will dump it deep. He's going to go off. Quick shot from Luchansky. Rebound chance. Puck still loose. And out of the zone. Albert sends it over to Bomer's side. Bomer up to Signs. Signs with a goal. Like he kind of toe drag shot between the defender's legs. I don't think the goalie saw the release of it, and looked like he tried to get in position, but couldn't. That'll be a 3-2 game, Toledo. We'll have Myers at center, Sorovi at left wing. It's like Cones maybe at right wing, Bomer and Hubbard back at D. Bomer's got it, picks it up and out of the zone. goes down actively into the boards. He gets up. It's all right. Russo sends it up the boards. Back with it, sends it around to Bomer. Bomer's gonna look and sends it up and out of the zone. No icing, we'll get a change. Albert's got it, he's gonna take it behind the net. Reverses to Wolf, to Russo. Steps up, keep it in at the blue line. I know you guys can't see anything down on this edge. I can't really either. Hartland's got possession of it now, trying to break out. Russo's got it, chips it up the boards. Albert steps up to get a stick on that. Puck's gonna go deep, we'll get a change. Got Bomer and Hubbard in at D. We've got Clausen, Signs, Luke's right now. Nice save there from Harris without a rebound. We had a Hartland guy there kind of uncovered for a second. All right, we'll keep Bomer and Hubbard in at D. We'll keep Luke, Signs, and Clausen up front. Has it, back to Hubbard. Signs. And back to Bomer. Hartland's gonna change. So we got pressure from one. Lost an edge. Signs has it. Up to Clausen. And Clausen will get it deep. Go for a change. We've got Albert and Wolf back at D. We've got Sorovi, Cones, and Myers up front. Save. Alright, we'll swap out D. Wolfie was limping off there. We bring in Bomer and Hubbard. We'll keep our forward lines out. Sorovi, Cones, and Myers. Cherokee. Puts it up out of the zone. Stick from Bomer. Got it. Tries to get it out. Can't. Really, probably could just ice it right now. These boys have been out for a while. Out of the zone. Still can't get it deep. Icing here is okay. There we go. Puck's, oh man, bad luck. Puck was going to get cleared all the way down, hit a stanchion, and bounce right back into the zone. Still could use an icing or something, or a whistle, or... Get it deep. Cleared. That should be good for a change. All right, perfect. Offsides. All right, we'll have Wolf and Albert back at D. We've got Signs, Lachansky, Luke's up front. Wolf goes back with it behind the net. And sends it up to Lachansky, up to Signs. Goes into the neutral zone. Albert gets a stick on that. Luke has it, dumps it deep. Albert over to Wolf. Wolf shoots. Puck's behind the net. Luke's has it. Still working with it, trying to make room. Gets it over to Signs. Signs back to Albert. Signs back to Luke's. It's going to be an icing. Nope. Wave it off. Nice save there from Harris. Puck comes out of the zone. Get a chance he get changed out. First Rovey. We'll have Luke's changed out. And we get an offsides there, thankfully. Alright, we've got Bomer and Hubbard back at D. Cones, Sarovi, Gentner up front. And Bomer's going to trap it along the boards. Try to anyways. That should be enough. Alright. Toledo's up by 1 going into the third. start of the third, we'll have George Bomer, Jack Hubbard back at D. We'll have Hudson Strobe at left wing, Holden Gentner at center, and Cam Combs at right wing. Got it. Gets it into the zone. Puck goes deep. Bomer will go back to get it. Over to Hubbard. Strobe gets a deep. We let our D change out. We've got Albert and Wolfie back at D. Myers, Sorovi up front. Save there from Harris and gets the rebound. All right, we'll bring in Bomer and Hubbard back at D. We'll have Russo up front, Vukavich up front, and Myers up front. Myers gets hooked down on his way to the puck, and Hartland will go to the bench. We'll go for holding. And we'll have Albert and Bomer back at D. Russo, Myers, and Vukavich up front. Face-off win back to Albert. Puck back to Bomer. Shot deflected. Goalie snags it with his glove. Albert's shot gets blocked. Puck's back to Albert. Alright, Bomer's got it. Sends it up to Vukavich. I was just waiting for our D to change, just in time for Wolf to get off the bench. Nice shot, goes just high. So we've got Hubbard and Wolf back at D. We've got Russo, Lukes, and Signs up front. That'll be an icing. got Bomer and Albert back at D, Gentner, Signs, and Luke's up front. Got 1 second left on the power play. Signs skates it in. Kept in at the blue line. Albert's back with it. Sends it up into the neutral zone. Luke skates it in, makes a move to Gentner, and can't get a shot off. We've got Hubbard and Wolf back at D. We've got Gentner, Cones, and they called offsides on that. Face-off come all the way back here. Close. All right, we'll keep Hubbard and Wolf back at D. We'll have Myers, Cones, and Sorobi up front. Comes up with it, tries to get it over to Cones. Sorobi with the wraparound, gets blocked. We've got Bomer and Albert in at D, and we've got a whistle for cross check coming against us, I think. Yep, Sorobi's going to the box for cross check. All right, we'll have Bomer and Albert back at D. We've got Russo and Vukovic up front. All right, puck is up and out of the zone. Russo with a chance here. Might get a shot off. At least gets it deep, kills some time. Signs in off the bench. Got Hubbard and Wolf back at D. Wolf's going to keep it in and tries to get it sent down into the corner. And Signs will send it around. Puck is out of the zone. Wolf's back with it. Serovy's out of the box, and he's going to skate it in, sends it over to Signs. It's back to Albert. And Albert will dump it in. Oh, they called him icing on that. That was I don't think that was on ice. Looked like Albert was on the red line, but I could be wrong. It's close. All right, we've got Bomer and Albert back at D. We've got Luke, Myers, and Luchansky up front. Bomer sends it up, and Luke skates it out. Bomer's got it. Put up to Luchansky. We got Bomer and Hubbard back at D. Hubbard sends it down into the corner. We've got Wolf with Hubbard out right now. Wolf sends it to Luchansky. Should have been an icing. Sent all the way down, did not deflect. It's all right. Let's get it deep. There we go. We'll get a change. We've got Bomer and Albert in a D right now. Signs is up front, and Russo's up front. Signs carries it in. He's got Russo to his right. Nice pass. Goalie stops it. All right, a little more than 4 minutes to go. Toledo's up by 1. We'll have Bomer and Hubbard at D. Signs, Russo, Luke's up front. Russo's got it down low. Homer gets a stick on that, deflected, and Russo comes up with it. Dumped down into the corner. Bomer's back with it. Sends it around. All right, Russo gets it deep, and we'll go for a change. We've got Hubbard and Bomer going off. We've got Wolf and Albert come on at D. We've got Serovy, Myers, and Cones up front. Hartland has it in the corner. And puck tried to get cleared, couldn't make it out. Albert's going to go back behind the net with it. And out of the zone. Hartland's got to be thinking of pulling their goalie here soon. Goalie's coming off now. And Harris grabs that. All right, we got an empty net here for Hartland. We'll be at 6-on-5. We're going to bring out Wilkevich, Gentner, Russo up front, Bomer and Hubbard back at D. Zoom in a little bit more for you guys. And I think we got one of the teams just called a timeout. Net still for Hartland. We're going to have Bomer and Hubbard back at D. We'll have Russo, Gentner, and Wilkevich up front. Bomer gets it up out of the zone. Doesn't quite make it down far enough for icing. And we'll have an offsides. Hartland with the face-off win. Bucks to Bomer, sends it up. All right, sent down. We'll get an icing here. We've got 18 seconds here to go. All right, we'll take our timeout. right, 18 seconds left. Empty net still, 6 on 5. We've got Gomer and Hubbard back at D. We'll have Signs, Myers, Russo up front. Okay, it's to the blue line, but not out. Shot goes into the corner. Hubbard goes to get it. And up to the blue line with block. That's going to be another win. These boys are getting their wins this weekend. We got one game tomorrow morning. It's around 9 or 10. I don't remember when. And then we'll be done after that. So a couple good performances here this weekend. Go home, get some good sleep, and do it again tomorrow. All right, we'll see you guys then.